Hey guys, and welcome back to Deku Tarot and to your weekly tarot and astrology for April 6th through the 12th of 2020. Stick around at the end for some big announcements in terms of price cuts for all my readings, how to get 30% off of astrology, natal charts, compatibility charts through this amazing site called Truly Divine. So stick around at the end for that. And again, both of that information will always be in my description box below this video. Do stick around also for a giveaway information at the end, as well as some other big announcements. So stick around, guys. We're going to go over the astrology first, and then we're going to get into your specific outlook for your sign for the week ahead, okay? So we got some big stuff this week, and if you guys haven't, do make sure to check out your monthlies. I've been finding that the weeklies are really lending to the monthlies that I did for April 2020. So do check those out. Those are all up. And do be sure to, especially to check out your weeklies for your rising sign first, then your sun and your moon. Rising sign does rule your whole chart, and I find that that really slaps for a good outlook, especially energy-wise and how things are coming across to you for your week and month ahead. So let's start off with April 6th, Monday here. We have the moon void. It's moving from Virgo into Libra. And this week, I do want to say just outright, it is Aries season in full swing. So here we have the moon kind of bringing in some harmony here. Well, actually, it will be in general in harmony with a lot of planets. So there's going to be a lot of natural expression with yourself and with others today. There's going to be a lot of taking account, into the opposite side as the moon moves into Libra. And you're going to be very focused on resolving issues diplomatically, fairly, bringing about balance, peace, and harmony. Tuesday, we have some big stuff going on. We have the full moon in Libra. And Libra is all, about relationships, about balance, about harmony. So it's bringing in a lot of clarity about relationships, a lot of harmony and connections. Okay, so any type of connections, again, that have been dancing around each other, weird situations even from last September, or even beyond that, especially with all the, eclipses, go back to those eclipses. If you've been dancing around a partnership, a person, a love situation since then, you're going to find that that could be coming up for that definitive moment, that big oomph moment here. So we might be reaching pinnacles within relationships in terms of seeing where they're headed, where they're going. Big moments could happen. Couples that are already together may start more enjoyable projects to work on together. And you need to start looking again at how do you feel when you're together versus apart. You don't want to be using relationships to define yourself or to avoid being alone. So let's see what else is going on here. Also, we have Mars and Aquarius on the same day here, squaring Uranus and Taurus. This is big news because this really only happens twice every other year. And Uranus and Taurus is big, and Mars and Aquarius is also big because they're both fixed signs and they're both very stubborn signs. People that say that Aquarians aren't stubborn, you're wrong. Aquarians might be, in my opinion, more stubborn than Taurus is, in my personal knowledge and experience with them as a Taurus, and having other people say that too. It's they're kind of secretly very stubborn. So there's a really stubborn and intense, very combustible squaring here. So it could be very disruptive. Tempers might even pop off here, and it's going to be happening because our ideologies and our egos are going to be clashing again with these two fixed signs. So it's going to force you to be like, you know what, it's time to stand up for what I want. It's time for me to stand up for ourselves, especially if you've been putting off with it, okay? Putting that off. So steer clear of any people and situations that will explode. Keep a cool head, okay? Friday, April 10th is another pretty interesting thing and pretty nice thing actually going on, especially for all this other really Aries energy, with the sun in Aries and being in Aries season. We have Mercury also moving into Aries here. So there's a lot of expressive, quick-witted, speedy speech here. We're going to be more drawn to, saying one-liners rather than going into a whole soliloquy of, everything and, maybe even like writing out an essay to explain things. People are going to have short attention spans. Keep it short. Pay attention to what people are saying, because if they have to repeat themselves, you might find that suddenly you're in an argument, okay? Because there's a lot of argumentative energy within this, within Mercury and Aries here. So if you don't want to burn down any major bridges, keep your argumentative side in check. So, in terms of astrology, that's pretty much what's going on here. We might do a separate video for the full moon in Libra, not Libra. So check that out as well. All right, so let's get into the tarot reading for the week. All right, Aquarius, let's look at your weekly ahead in terms of tarot for April 6th to the 13th. Let's look at the emotional capacity, your feelings for the week, your emotions and feelings for April 6th through 13th, 2020. Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And again, guys, do be sure especially to check out your rising and definitely your moon sign. When you have a full moon like Libra this week, definitely check out both. Ooh. We're going to have to look at that. Let's look at career, money, abundance, prosperity and career, finances and career for Aquarius this week. All right. And love and relationships for Aquarius this week. Okay. Interesting. We're going to look at that. Definitely check out your monthly, guys, if you haven't. Your monthly was very intense in its feelings. So I would definitely check that out. I'm a channeled reader. I don't choose the messages that come out, but do be aware that the messages that are going to be there for April for you guys are pretty intense, but I think you can handle them. Fixed signs can usually handle the tougher messages because they'll be ready for it. You guys can take it a lot easier. You're a lot less sensitive to it, so especially as we enter the age of your sign of Aquarius. So let's look at your major challenges, major energies, anything major that is happening this week that we need to know about for Aquarius. Okay, I can't help but see you coming out behind everything, so we're going to have to address this. All right, again, do check out your monthly if you haven't. So your emotions, let's talk about the emotions this week, okay? And then we'll get to the career because it looks a little bit lighter. Although you might be wrapped up in your career with your emotions, feeling difficult, feeling frustrated, feeling trapped in some areas in terms, there's just a lot of trapping. There's a lot of I'll be honest, that big card for your week here is the Three of Swords. Let's not ignore that, and I can't really pretend it's not there. So we'll address that and how it relates to your more emotional aspects, which is relationship here, Ace of Cups reverse, and your emotions and feelings, which is the Death card. It's major transformation, and it is letting go of somebody that has hurt you, recognizing, I think, where somebody has hurt you. And I will refer you back to that astrology part in the beginning where I did mention that we have on Tuesday this Mars and Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus. That's your sign, yeah. And that's Taurus, another fixed sign. Very disruptive, very stubborn coming together. You guys are two very stubborn signs, and nobody talks about that. All fixed signs are stubborn, but I find that, I mean, all fixed signs are pretty equally stubborn. Let's all be honest here. So, but especially when you get your Aries and Taurus, which is air and earth coming together, ideologies, there's not going to be a common ground here in this situation that's coming up here. It could also be that things really pop off around this day here, in terms of, you know, people popping off in terms of how you're feeling, standing up for yourself. This is what I need. This is what I deserve. This is who I am. Don't mess with me. And anything that needs to explode, it's gonna explode. However, especially in terms of relationships, with that full moon in Libra, the same day with this energy of, you know, this Mars and Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus, I really feel like this could be a moment this week where if you've danced around a relationship problem, there's been an issue, there's going to be a seriously defining, explosive, pinnacle moment here where everything kind of comes together and ba-boom. So I'm going to say I don't think it's going to be very positive. I don't think it's going to be positive for a lot of people. For some people, it might be. I get the sense for some of the water signs it might be. But I'm not getting that for you. I'm going to be honest here. So let's look at death a little bit deeper in relation to the Ace of Cups and the Three of Swords for all this emotional quality this week and the hurting. Because they all to me seem to be very linked. So let's talk about it. We need to make some major changes here. If you're not happy at home, and that's the issue here, if you're not feeling supported, you don't feel like you have your community, your people, and you're feeling, again, like there's like not a lot of material, physical comfort around you with the Ten of Pentacles reversed. There's something that is lacking, somebody that isn't there. If it's a love situation, then it's somebody that's not around. Somebody that you might have been waiting for, hoping for, but it's when you get a 10 reverse in the Death card, you have to change. You have to change your outlook on what your happily ever after was. You have to change on, what is the word I'm looking for? Change in terms of, yeah, okay, let's just be honest about it. being maybe a little bit foolish about, yeah, we're gonna end up together. I'm gonna end up in this situation. It doesn't have to be a love situation, but for some of you, you're imagining you're, you know, happily ever after, you know, living in this beautiful place or traveling, doing all this stuff with the perfect person, not worrying about money, not worrying about this stuff. This person just wants to be with you. But I have to be honest, the person that you're imagining in it, or the situation that you're imagining, is kind of, you know, silly. I don't want to say it's foolish, but when you get the Fool reverse, we're not looking at it logistically. We're not looking at it from a place that we need to be looking at it from, which is reality. Let's all be honest here. This is a non-realistic situation. You're going to feel a little bit foolish for what you've been holding out for, especially in terms of money, in terms of sustenance, in terms of, yeah, when you get 2 tens, okay, let's just like, somebody start tallying how many times I get tens together, because it's literally every single time. And you get the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords together. This is some major, major endings in terms of what you viewed home, what you viewed family as, what you viewed security as well. So we have some major, major endings in these areas for you, but it's also needing to look at where you have been unrealistic about how you're going to get from point A to point B. Yeah, we might be really ready to let go of some family institutions, some support systems that have really not been supporting us, you know, past a certain point here. You're ready to let things go. You're ready to start pulling out the swords and really examining what hurt you and put you here in the first place. So there's a lot of intense, major endings, it feels, this week. And again, I feel like the Tuesday is really going to be rocking you guys in terms of that stuff. But don't feel, I don't know, this is such a down and out week for you. I just want to say, don't try to seek out guidance in pleasure. You will not be satisfied. It's not the same thing. Don't look for the raft right now, because the raft isn't going to be there. You are the raft. There's nobody, nothing, no amount of drugs, alcohol, food that can satiate this situation. It's time to let some certain things go. Realize that, you know, you need to be willing to take responsibility, but you also need to be willing to look at very truthfully what is wrong here. There's a lot of things that are reversed that signify to me that you're really unwilling to see your own part played in this, but you have to, whether it hurts or not, whether it makes you point the finger at yourself and feel bad about it or not. It's time to start taking responsibility about a situation here. I'm not trying to, again, I feel like this is like just a reiteration of your monthly, but when the cards come up like this, I can't really ignore these feelings. So let's look at some advice for this week, because it's going to be a tough one. Okay. It's time to realize you can't do this all on your own. You have so many reverse cards coming out. 5 of Pentacles reverse, 9 of Cups reverse, and the 4 of Wands. It's coming out of the dark about a situation you've really been delusional about. I don't want to say that, but when you get the 9 of Cups reverse, there's a lot of self-satisfaction, delusion, self-delusion there about how good something is. And it's, you know, feeding yourself all the profits from it. So again, drinking too much, doing too many drugs, or eating too much, indulging too much in this self-satisfied place when things are not as flawless as they are. It's time to start realizing that things aren't as pretty as you're making them out to be. You're not as happy as you've made yourself out to be, and somebody has to know. You've got to reach out to somebody this week for some help and guidance. And even if that crushes you, hurts you, makes you feel negative about yourself, it's time to do so, okay? Let's get some oracles to kind of wrap this up. This is an intense reading, and this might have to do again with the loss of a lover, you know, somebody that no longer wants to be with you, or somebody that you have to accept is very manipulative, and no matter what they say and do, you got to break free from it. It could even be somebody that you work with that has manipulated you into a point where they're actually using you, and you're not getting much from this, are you? But with the Devil reversed, you're getting out of that situation. There is a wake up. There is a moment where you do have to realize and really look at this. What you do after that moment, it's kind of like, I mean, air signs, when they see, there's like a lot of music, you know, when they see the real truth, the real problem, and then they just look the other way. I'm not going to do this right now. Well, you have to. Okay, I think you've been playing this game too long, and April's not letting you go in terms of that. It's going to make you look at that and deal with it, and whether you want to or not. Hangman reverse always says you don't want to, but you kind of have to, okay? You need to concentrate on something other than yourself, and on you cannot have your ego wrapped up in this, okay? So when you find that your ego is wrapped up in this whole situation, it's time to take a step back and find a better way to approach this, okay? Let's pull an oracle. Let's pull Stacey DeMarco to maybe help along with this here. Ancestors. That doesn't feel like it's the only one though. Courage. Okay. Let's see here. Ancestors, the love and legacy of your DNA. This says that if you need to reach out to your ancestors, those on the other side, any deities, etc., that are there for you, even people here in the here and now, it's time to start reaching out, asking for help. They're here to support you. They're here to help you onto this next path and to help you feel supported and guided at this time. So reach out in those ways. The love and legacy of our DNA. You've got this, whether you think so or not, whether you want to, lay on the ground and cry about this whole situation and throw your fists around and say, why? You have to sit down and be a responsible adult about it. And I know that sucks when you're sad and you're frustrated and you don't want to feel like it's your fault. And even if it's mostly not your fault, it's time to take responsibility for what is your fault, okay? Take accountability for the way the situation has unfolded and where we're at now. Courage. Action takes courage. We often feel like fish out of water, separate and different from the world around us. Fish out of water can learn to swim in new air of consciousness with a purpose in life. With a new purpose in life. Perhaps it is identification with objects and clinging to addictions that keeps you feeling separate and keeps you from finding the source of your power. Not only dependence on drugs, sex, and alcohol, but also addictions like fear of failure, the need for approval, or fear of desertion. Discover your own power and meaning by having the courage to give up your addictions. Then live your power with courage. That is the perfect message for you guys. You have to give up whatever it is or whoever it is you're addicted to, whether it's emotional cycles, whether it's a job, whether it's this egoism, oh, people like it when I dress like this or when I post like pictures of myself like this. There's egoism wrapped up in that, and it's not healthy, and it's become an addiction. So if you're finding that you're living on an addiction of, I get to this level of success, I get this many likes, etc., or, people say this about me, then that's what success is. I'm hot, so I'm hot, so I'm successful, Instagram girls and stuff like that. It's time to really look at, again, discover your own power and meaning by having the courage to give up your addictions and live your power with courage. You've lost your power in the midst of trying to be something and somebody else. So those are your messages. Gosh, those were longer than I expected. I hope you enjoy them. Do make sure to subscribe, share, and let me know in the comments how you liked it, how it resonated, guys. Do make sure to check out all the discounted readings I'm doing. I'm taking 20% off of all of my readings right now. Use the code Deku30 at trulydivine.com to get 30% off of these amazing, the best I've ever done with people, machines, computers, whatever, anything. Astrology and natal chart analysis, compatibility. They do numerology, and I'm still dumbfounded by how amazing they were as a service. So definitely check that out. It's in my description box. You can use the code DQ30 as many times as you want for more than one reading. You can also send it to as many people as you want, and they can all use it. So if you know people that want their charts done, send them that code. Send them Truly Divine, and check it out, guys. And if you want to enter a contest to win this really awesome wire wrap bone ring, all you have to do is share a video, and once you share it, screenshot it and then email me the screenshot, guys. Or you can book a reading before April 13th that you can get this ring. You'll be getting also some stones, some of my personal stones, as well as a spell sachet made specifically for me to you. So check that out, guys, and have a wonderful and blessed week. Make sure to subscribe. Namaste.